Meanwhile, the Chancellor was in Ghana to promote investment as a means of developing the continent and tackling the immigration crisis in Europe. Mrs. Merkel hopes to invest in the continent's more stable economies while tackling the fight against jihadists and promoting growth to keep the continent's youth at home. During her Africa trip, Merkel says the most effective ways of stopping young people from making the dangerous trip is by contributing to the building of prosperity and stability in the region. Hundreds of migrants have been relocated from government-run detention centers after getting trapped by clashes between rival groups in Libya. The UN and aid agencies say the migrants had been abandoned after their guards fled the fighting, which killed almost 30 people. Aid workers say the migrants were taken to a safer place from 2 centers run by the UN-backed government. A total of 27 people have been killed and 91 others wounded since the outbreak of the fighting. Staying in Libya, at least 2 children have been killed after a missile struck a house during ongoing clashes. According to the local council, the children aged 14 and 6 were reportedly playing in the garden when the missile hit their home. Clashes between warring factions in Libya, which began earlier this week, had on Thursday morning relatively calmed after a ceasefire agreement was struck. Officials said the military will be deployed to the affected areas, but tight pockets of fighting continued even after the announcement. Head of Uganda's media center says embattled MP Bobi Wine was unable to leave the country on Thursday night because the courts had not authorized the trip. Although he was granted bail after being charged with treason last week, Ofwono Opondo said there was a risk the MP could abscond. Mr. Wine was stopped at the airport where he was open to board a plane to seek medical treatment abroad in the United States. His lawyers allege that he was tortured while in detention and say they do not know of his whereabouts. A second MP, Francis Zake, was also prevented from leaving Uganda. Both men were taken to a hospital, but Mr. Opondo says the medics were not cooperating with the police. Joining us now is a lecturer at the Department of Political Science at the University of Lagos, Mr. Emmanuel Ona. What do you make of the rearrest of Ugandan MP Bobi Wine?
Well, I think the arrest of Bobi Wine is once more a show of the kind of desperate politics that is increasingly becoming the norm in African countries. You know, in many countries of Africa, I think the trend now is for the opposition to be desperate and then for the government to be very, very hard, you know, on the opposition. And I think it does not go well for politics in African countries because it shows that democracy is not helping us to open up the space for discussion, the space for dialogue, the space for consultation. You know, instead we are becoming more extreme, you know, more zero-sum in our attitudes, and this is the same for both the government parties and for the opposition parties.
What does this say about the democracy in Uganda?
Yeah, democracy in Uganda is obviously flawed. President Yoweri Museveni has been in power for so long, I think for about 34 years or so. And I mean, it doesn't say any good about that country that one man will be in power for so long and then other people. The person we are talking about, the Bobi Wine, was probably not born or just born when Museveni was coming to power in Uganda. So politics in Uganda is not doing well, and this is a pity because there was a time when Uganda put up some promise to African countries. They seeing that the attitude of the government is also often the same with the attitude of the opposition. You would think that the opposition in Uganda, under the circumstances, will be more relaxed in terms of knowing that, they have the people with them. But instead, what you see is also extreme measures, extreme methods on their part. And that is what does not go well also for politics there.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Ona, for joining us on the program. The World Health Organization says the number of Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo is declining, but it is not certain if the outbreak is stabilizing. The WHO chief says this is because of difficulties in identifying new cases near rebel-controlled areas. Some areas close to the outbreak's epicenter in the town of Banjina are off limits to health workers for security reasons, hampering efforts to control the spread of the disease. Since the latest outbreak was declared on August the 1st, 112 confirmed and probable cases have been identified in eastern Congo's North Kivu and Ituri provinces and 75 deaths.
I visited Beni 2 weeks ago. Before my visit, I was worried, but after my visit, I was even more worried because I could see that there are many things that really complicate the response. Number one is the security situation. It's a very active conflict zone. And the second is it's a high population density area. Third, there is high population movement within provinces and across the borders to the neighboring countries. The number of cases we see now is on the decline. But still, because of the inaccessible areas we have, and we have some contacts already in those areas, we cannot be sure that we don't have any cases in those inaccessible areas. One case is hidden in the red zone or inaccessible area. It's dangerous. It can just spark a fight. Just one case.
Right.
So that's why we're saying, the virus is very aggressive. One case is enough, and we need to be more aggressive. And the virus doesn't actually differentiate between a rebel and so on. It's dangerous to everybody. And that's why I was worried, and I could see the security challenges myself.
Still to come on the program, our Africa Tech segment showcases a 15-year-old Nigerian tech inventor. Please stay with us.